Hey folks, Jonathan here. Okay, quick video. Not going to make it long. Just about some injectors and DT-466, putting them in, getting them out, all that good stuff. They can be in there sometimes tight. So I'm going to show you a tool I made to get them out. It's a pretty common tool. They sell them $140, $150, $60 a piece, but you know, I wouldn't dare pay that for it. There's nothing to it. Okay, so here's what we got. I'm going to give you some quick measurements. That nut is 9/16 coarse thread. Ooh, no, sorry, 9/16 fine thread. 9/16 fine thread on the nut. That's the oddest thing you're going to have to find. I put a 1/2 inch nut on a threaded rod, and then I welded it to it. That's all I've got there. Took this piece of pipe, which is, this is the important stuff for you. So it's about 1.25 inches inside. It's exactly 1 5/8 outside. So 1 5/8 outside, 1/8 inch wall. And then I actually machined this slot, but you can just grind this slot in it. Now this needs to be 4 inches long, and then a heavy washer on this end. This is actually, this came off of a Harbor Freight grinder that I burned up. I just put it on there, tacked it on, because it don't have to be on there really strong. But what the groove is for is when you put it together and you put it in and you tighten it up, you got to be able to miss them return lines. So that allows you to pull the injector all the way up. Now, I've not had any problem yet about lengthwise, but it probably wouldn't hurt if you made this thing 5 inches long and took this groove up another inch or 1/2 inch, make it 4.5, but make it a little nicer. But basically what you do is put it together like you're saying, put this on it, tighten it down. When you tighten it, it pulls it. Now, injectors. I've got a rebuilt set here from a company. Let me see, what company did I buy these through? Can't tell you. Spencer Diesel in Iowa. And I'd done that because they were knowledgeable about the injectors. I had a hard time finding out what needed. You know, anytime you call with an international, you call your dealer or whatever, they're going to want the last date of the VIN, last date of the VIN. Well, the engine come out of a school bus. I don't have the VIN. I didn't get the VIN. You know, pretty foolish by not getting the VIN, but I didn't. So if you don't have it, and then you got a little bit more searching to do for your parts, injectors for DT-466, 1066 tractors, 1086 tractors, all your internationals, even the 404, 414 engines, they're pretty easy to get a hold of, 360s. The problem is this is a truck engine. So, and the reason that you want to get the right injector for the engine, and I'm not just saying that, you know, if you got two DT-466s sitting side by side, and you could have two different sets of pistons in there. Well, the actual chamber on the piston and the design is made for a particular injector. So you want to be able to get the right spray. Well, that's why I'm saying that it's best to put the exact same injector, or at least injector tip back in. So what I done to find out what injectors we needed was to actually pull it apart. Now, I'm not going to take it off now because I don't need to be putting it back together, but pull it apart, and on this tip is a number. It's going to be a Standardine number, and that number, and it may be a Bosch, but everything I've seen was Standardine, but that number is the number that you need. The body number is pretty common. You know, that's not going to be one that's going to be hard to find. But you have to take it apart and get the injector tip number. We'll get you in the right direction for an injector. These injectors was about $127 a piece. And again, I could have found them cheaper. If I find a company that's knowledgeable about what they're doing and they're really eager to help me out, and you know, what I was looking for was a part number. So I was able to give him the tip number, so he was able to give me what the right part number for the injector was. Now, I could have went to another company using the part number that he gave me. That'd be kind of, well, it wouldn't be, I'm not saying it'd be immoral, but it would be, you know, weighing on me a little bit, and I wouldn't want to do that. So I would prefer, even though I probably paid a little more than what I should have, I'd prefer to buy them straight from them. I like the guy. He was a nice guy. His name's John. Like I said, Spencer Diesel, Iowa. Didn't get a break on him whatsoever. Didn't tell him, you know, He don't know I do YouTube or anything like that, so I mean I wasn't trying to get a break. But the cores are $20 a piece, so I got to get the old ones back to him. And I went ahead and bought the kit. The kit comes with all the lines. Of course, it came with the washers for the end anyway. But the kit came with the lines. But what was important to me and what I wanted was these rubbers that go right here. They are so hard. I mean, they're hard as a rock. The date on these injectors, the date on that tip was 1992. Assuming that them were probably originals and never been changed, and they're still blue. So, and usually when they get rebuilt, they get changed. But color-wise, anyway, they don't paint them. So we're going to go ahead and get these in. I'll show you pulling one out, and that way you'll get an idea how this puller works. And like I said, this puller you can make in 10 minutes, where instead of buying one for $140 or so. I mean, there's no reason for that. Okay, so here's what we got. You can see I got my valve cover off. And the reason I got it off is because I went through and adjusted valves, 25 thousandths, intake and exhaust, and I had a valve cover gasket that was leaking, and when I took it apart it just broke in pieces. So it's been leaking for a little while and I've been needing to change it. Now this is not oil, that's water. I pressure washed it some before I started, and the water sitting in the bottom down there. And I'm going to go ahead and get a 3/4 and pull the line, and then we're going to get a 1/2 inch and pull. And as you can see, I'm working back to there, and then I can get the back 2 injectors I can get from inside, and I'll get them all swapped out here and get the hose cleaned up around it. I got some brake cleaner here. I want to spray it a little bit and wipe it down some more. You don't need anything falling in them holes. Definitely don't want to do that. So let me get some tools. We'll go ahead and get at it. Okay, so it's pretty self-explanatory, but here is how it works. Okay, these lines, as long as you unhook at least 3 at a time, you can get them moved away with no problem, and without breaking them or cracking them. Screw your piece on. Make sure you screw it all the way down onto your injector, and then and yeah, my hands are dirty because I'm working. I get the comment of why I don't wash my hands. I do wash my hands, of course. It's just that I'm not going to stop in between working to go wash my hands to come back and just so my hands are clean for the camera. I'm sorry, if you can't handle dirty hands. Alright, and then you just start tightening. Now this one's coming easy. I've had them come hard. As you can see, hopefully, move the camera around. I know it's a precarious situation here. There it goes, right up inside the hole. And I'm telling you, some of these are tough. They do not want to come out. So, this is definitely a savior for this. And there you go. A little bit of water in there. Hopefully the cup's not leaking. It's probably from up top, getting it around it over time. Okay, a lot of you may not know that this engine's not supposed to be in this truck. This is a GMC, and it had a 3116 Caterpillar, and I didn't like it, so I put this DT-466 International engine in it. And I ran everything Caterpillar, everything when it comes to sensors, air cleaner, the hoses. I made adapters. The only thing, let me see, the alternator bolted on, everything else I had to make. But I tried to keep it where if I need a part, like an air cleaner, anything like that, I can get it for a original CAT engine. But sensor stuff like that, the only thing, of course, the filters and stuff is going to be International. But anyway, the engine was longer. I had to do a little bit of firewall work, so we're close back in here. But if you look, I've got this injector on this side of the firewall, and the other injector is on the other side of the firewall. So I think I can clear them both. Now, I had to trim that out a little bit right there when I originally put the engine in. So what I done was I raised the cab up 4 inches put the engine in and mounted it, and then I lowered the cab back down around it. So we got the happy medium, got it in there. Had to build mounts with front and the back and shorten the drive shaft. Front drive shaft's only about, I don't know, 6 inches long or shorter. It's got a 643 Allison, which is way bigger than this truck would ever need. It's only an 18,000 GVW truck, and I believe that 643 goes up to, I know it's in a lot of 33,000 GVW trucks, but I think it's actually rated for way more than that. Anyway, so that's where we're at. We're working on number 4. Number 3 brought the, number 2 brought the injector cup out with it, so I drained my water, turn the engine over and get the water out of the cylinder. Had to clean the cup up and then Loctite it back in. So it was a big pain in the butt, but I mean, it happens, and we don't have any injector cups that's really leaking. It just pulled out. So I probably should have bought a new set. They're not very expensive, but we can get by with what we've got. And they're copper, so they're not, it wasn't ate through or in any bad shape whatsoever. So, but I had to drain the water out, and once you drain the water out, you got to roll the engine over, get the water out of the cylinder where it went. So I rolled it over. There's still water. There's not water in it, but I mean, there's still, I'm sure, residue. So I want to try to get this together as quick as I can and get it started. And I don't need it rusting my cylinder before I get it running. So anyway, 3 more to do here, and we'll be able to fire it up. All right, folks, there you go. Injectors on a DT-466. Easy job. Not a problem to do. So don't let them scare you. And making the tool for it, that's the cheap and easy way of doing it. Until next time, appreciate everybody watching. Bye.